to the Eastern Conference here. Yep, there we go. Yep, moving on to the Eastern Conference here, we have Miami in the 7th spot, really being led by Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero as well. All guys are scoring 20 points per game. Rumor is that Kevin Love will be joining them in Miami. I think he's talking to them, and I think the other team was Chicago. I think are interested in Kevin Love. Adding Kevin Love to their team would be really interesting and give them some shooting and another veteran guy, a rebounder in Miami, and I think that's a really good pickup for Miami. Can change things for them and give them a puncher's chance in the playoff. Right? So I don't think they're better than Boston or Philly or Milwaukee, but it does give them a puncher's chance if they do get Kevin Love, in my opinion. He kind of fell off there a little bit in Cleveland, a little bit there at the start of the new year. Kind of out of the rotation, and basically Cleveland honored his buyout. Honored him by giving him a buyout, obviously already saying that they're going to retire his number. But Miami Heat culture, they just don't go away. I thought they were done this year. I thought they were going to be struggling. I thought there were just too many injuries. I thought Kyle Lowry wasn't being effective. So to see them stay afloat, be above 500, and try to turn things around, got to respect Miami, and they're always going to be in it. They're like zombies. They don't go away. And we'll see what pans out there. But they got good play from Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero as well. And we'll see what they're able to do. Moving on to Atlanta at 29-30, one of the biggest conundrums of the NBA this season. People thought this team would have been a lot better. I thought they would have been slightly better. So to see them struggling like that, Trae Young is trying to pick it up heading into the second half of the season. John Collins wasn't traded again. Excuse me. I thought that would have been a smart move to get him traded. To get him traded and add some flexibility to your roster. But nothing was out there that they liked. They couldn't pull the trigger on a deal. We'll see what happens with Atlanta. They got Javonte Murray there, Clint Capella and stuff like that. So it's like we got to see what Atlanta's actually doing and to see if they're serious or not. Moving into the second half of the season, Washington. Moving on to Washington, who is 28-30. Another team similar to Portland. I think I wanted them to blow it up because it's like I'm tired of seeing Bradley Beal there. You guys are not doing anything. You guys are not going anywhere. Porzingis has been playing well. I thought it has been an all-star consideration. But they're just not doing anything. In Washington, I thought they needed to blow it up, trade Bradley Beal, get some assets. For whatever reason, him and Dame Lillard are – I'm pretty sure their families have a lot to do with that. They're ingrained in those cities. They're set up pretty nicely to leave that. I understand that, but another situation where I think they should blow it up. Try to get as many assets as they can, even Porzingis, try to figure it out and rebuild this franchise that basically Washington has been waiting to be rebuilt. Toronto, not getting a point guard, adding Jakob Poeltl from San Antonio in the surprising move. I didn't think he would be able to go to Toronto. I believe that was the team that originally drafted him as well. So to see Toronto do that, I think they're going to try to figure out their offense, but they shored up their defense, and they're just like, hey, we're just going to be annoying as hell. We're going to shore up our defense and make it tough for guys to score on us, and we'll figure out our offense. We'll try to get that going, get that together. And that seems to be the move that they're making. They did not trade Pascal Siakam or OG Anunoby, despite them getting multiple first-round pick offers for him. They said they wanted a player in return. I thought that was a Dillon Brooks spot. I would have gave up Dillon Brooks for OG Anunoby. I don't care what Memphis was trying to say or do. I'm like, we got to get him. We got to get him, especially now that they added Kevin Durant out west, especially a guy that can spread the floor and knock down shots and play defense the way he does. I thought that would have been a great addition to Memphis. But they weren't able to get a deal done. Toronto trying to figure it out and pull together to make it to the playoffs and maybe blow it up in the offseason. We'll see what they do. Moving on to Chicago, and unfortunately, I think that just came out of a report with Lonzo Ball that he's still not able to run and cut. That is so unfortunate for this team that was on one seed last year with Lonzo and Alex Caruso wreaking havoc in the backcourt. Alex Uh, Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, DeMar DeRozan's an all-star. Zach LaVine was all-star consideration. And this team just doesn't fit. I thought there was another team that could have blew it up. But they kept it together and they say, hey, we're going to try to make a push here. And it's like, I just don't see it changing for you guys, especially in the Eastern Conference, where there's a lot more balanced teams, a little bit more teams with identity and consistency than Chicago. Um, yeah, and I just feel like they should have blew it up. And I don't know what they're going to do, especially with the Lonzo Ball injury, especially going forward with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. They can get some assets back and really try to flip things. They said this is potentially a Russell Westbrook spot. Do I think Russell Westbrook fixes their playmaking ability and defense? No. Would he be able to provide an energy boost to this franchise? Absolutely. Do I think that's the best landing spot? I'm not entirely sure, but Chicago needs to do something either now or the offseason and figure it out because them treading water isn't doing anything. It's not doing anything for their franchise. Moving on to Indiana, who was 26-34. Obviously, we're the 4 seed before Tyrese Halliburton went down. He's now back. Hopefully, they can turn it around and get back into the playoffs. They just extended Miles Turner. Benedict Mathurin has been in Rookie of the Year considerations with Paulo Banchero. Buddy Hield has been playing really well. So Indiana hopefully can turn it around. They're better than their record. They just lost their point guard for what? A month. So we'll see if they can turn it around there. And lastly, going to Orlando, who was 24-35, playing 500 balls since the new year. So, I mean, that's good for them. Markel Fultz has come back and has been playing really well for them. Cole Anthony has been playing well. Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero. They traded Mo Bamba. They finally got rid of the big, which I thought was smart. Terrence Ross was finally gone from Orlando. Bought out there. And he's been there forever and has been a trade chip for them. And they didn't trade him. They just let him go. So we'll see what Orlando's been doing. But they've been interesting. They've been playing rough and tough down there in Orlando after the start of the season and really trying to put it together. You can see this team is a quality team there and a tough out for, and well, not a tough out, but a tough night on night-to-night basis. Just a young team trying to figure it out. So we'll see what happens there. Not going to talk about Charlotte and Detroit. Obviously, like San Antonio and Houston, they're in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. And we'll see how that pans out for them. Let's talk about the top half of the Eastern Conference in a minute.